Day, ladies and gentlemen, little sisters and brothers. Today's video is designed to prove a couple of my conjectures. One being my Armada understanding. You know, many self-sustaining nations coming forth upon the earth together. My repopulation pulse understanding is another conjecture I want to prove correct also. You remember, each Armada is an upgraded model designed to replace the last pulse. In the midst of proving these two monumental facts, I want to dig a little deeper into the Greek/Herculean connection to see if it holds any more water. So let's begin, shall we? According to Wikipedia, under Spartan Constitution, quote, the Spartan Constitution refers to the government and laws of the Dorian city-state of Sparta from the time of Lycurgus, the legendary lawgiver, to the incorporation of Sparta into the Roman Republic, approximately the 9th century BC to the 2nd century BC. I'm going to say that again. In fact, I'm going to read that all again. Very, very important. Pull out your abacus. Quote, the Spartan Constitution refers to the government and laws of the Dorian city-state of Sparta from the time of Lycurgus, the legendary lawgiver, to the incorporation of Sparta into the Roman Republic, approximately the 9th century BC to the 2nd century BC. The politics of the Dorian Sparta, however, was noted by many classical authors for its unique features, which supported a rigidly layered social system and a strong military. Stop. Bingo. Question. Is Little Miss Ivy the only person to catch the problem so far? What problem, you ponder? Well, didn't we read the Dorian invasion, which included the Spartans, happened way back in the Iron Age /1200 BC? Well, Little Miss Ivy ciphered it for me, and it came out to a 300-year difference. And when I heard that, I immediately realized this guy was the commander of a new armada of upgraded clone replacements. I mean, if you Wikipedia his name, Lycurgus, Lycurgus, under biography, and cut to the chase, it will tell you, quote, Plutarch himself remarks that nothing can be known for certain about Lycurgus, since different authors give different accounts of almost everything about him. The actual person Lycurgus may or may not have existed. It is possible that Lycurgos was an epithet of the god Apollo, as he was worshipped in very early Sparta, and that later legend transformed this aspect of the god into a wise human lawgiver. Listen up, listen up. But as a symbolic founder of the Spartan state, he was looked to as the initiator of many of its social and political institutions. Much, therefore, of Plutarch's account is concerned with finding the, personal quote, origins of contemporary Spartan practices. Example, and if this was in the mid-9th century BC, this can only mean either the Greeks' lifespan exceeded over 300 years, or this cat was the captain of a new armada of Greek upgrades, one upgrade being laws to live by. But let's continue in the original constitutional article if you don't believe me. Listen to this. Under the Act of Foundation, subtitle Great Rhetra. No, not Refa. Rhetra. Rhetra. Quote, according to Plutarch, Lycurgus first sought counsel from the god Apollo by obtaining an oracle from Delphi regarding the formation of his government. The divine proclamation, which he received in this manner, is known as a ritra and is given in part by Plutarch as follows. Stop. Bingo. I told you. This proves there were Greeks already established with a religious system in place before he asked about the formation of his government. Yep, Armada commander. But I'm colored, and that can only mean you still have doubts. So let's continue so the white man can put them to rest. Check out what the gods told them. First the actual saying, and then it's broken down so we can understand it. Quote, personal quote. This is what the gods told him. When thou hast built a temple to Zeus and Athena, divided the people into Philae and into Obi, and established a senate of 30 members, including the Archigeti, then from time to time a palization between B and C, and there introduce and resign measures. But the people must have the deciding voice and the power. Listen up, listen up. Plutarch provided by way of explanation. This is what all that bullshit meant. Listen to this. Personal quote. In these clauses, the Philae and the Obini refers to divisions and distributions of the people into clans and pharities, which is classes, or comma, or brotherhoods, which is factions and guilds, by Archigeti, Archageti. We're going to get to that. The kings are designated. The appellation means to assemble the people with a reference to Apollo, the Pythian god, who was the source and author of the politics. Another version of the ritra is given by H. Mitchell. This is what it says. Personal quote. After having built a temple to Zeus and Athena, and having piled the palace and obeyed the Belis, you shall establish a council of 30 elders, the leaders included. That is to say that after the people had been divided according to their different tribes, the Philis and the Obis, they would welcome the new Lycurgan reform. Stop. Bingo. I know that didn't sound good, but I told you. You can look at this in two ways, people. The first being Lycurgus was somehow in some way given a mandate to divide people who should have already been divided 300 years plus already. Or you can logically say Lycurgus was the commander of many different and distinct programmable nations that ascended upon the earth together as one armada. Why? To replace the lawless, obsolete Dorian nations that came out before them. Now, let's continue so I can show you another reason why I believe what I believe. Under Laws of Lycurgus. Listen up. Quote, the Spartans had no historical records, literature, or written laws, which were, according to tradition, expressly prohibited by an ordinance of Lycurgus, excluding the great ritra. Stop. Bingo. Talk about perfect cover. So as you can clearly hear, the gods told him to hide their armada ascension and muddy up the waters of history by making a law against writing about their damn history, etc. Wow! But let's continue so I can show you what I perceive the result of them not knowing their left hand from their right. Quote, issuance of coinage was prohibited. Spartans were obliged to use iron obols, bars, and sprits, meant to encourage self-sufficiency and discourage money grabbing. It's a word, money grabbing, and the hoarding of wealth. A Spartan citizen in good standing was one who maintained his fighting skills, showed bravery in battle, assured that his farms were productive, was married, and had healthy children. Stop. Bingo! Now that's talking about Spartan people. They ain't talking about the Spartanettes now. Don't get it twisted. That was talking about the Spartans. Bingo! They didn't understand the ways of commerce. So they were programmable. They were so programmable. Think about this, and I think hopefully y'all have seen the images on there. They used iron and steel rods as money. Hence why the Spartanettes were forbidden to do commerce. They didn't use money at all. They used these rods, just look like rods of iron. That's just it. Like rods of iron. It's crazy. So basically, they were ancient, big dumb jocks. But let's continue so I can show you another reason why I, just as you heard the atheist Greek scholars concede, maybe the mythology is true. You know what I mean, right? Maybe the letter of what they believe about their history has been mystified, but the spirit of their beliefs, in this case to me, the mechanics behind their creation, I believe what they believe wholeheartedly. Check it out. Under dual kingship, quote, the state was ruled by two hereditary kings of the A and the E families, both descendants of Hercules, and equal in authority so that one could not act against the power and political enactments of his colleague. Though the A king received greater honor by virtue of seniority of his family for being the oldest extant. Stop. What? Did they just tell us Sparta had two kings at the same time? Both were descendants of a Hercules? But I can't believe my eyes. So I looked it up. Check out what Wikipedia said. Under list of kings of Sparta. Listen to this. Quote, this list of kings of Sparta details the important rulers of the ancient Greek city-state of Sparta in the Peloponnese. Sparta was unusual among the Greek city-states in that it maintained its kingship past the Archaic Age. It was even more unusual in that it had two kings simultaneously, which were called the Archaic, Archageti, coming from two separate lines. According to tradition, the two lines, the A's and the E's, were respectively descended from the twins E and P, the descendants of Hercules, who supposedly conquered Sparta 2 generations after the Trojan War. The dynasties themselves, however, were named after the twins' grandsons, the king Argus I and Eopon, respectively. Example, bingo! Wow! I can see fudging the truth about one lineage and the people believe it, but they put their money where their belief was and formulated two kingships that ran together to back it up. Meaning, people were willing to live and die by the words of these kings, and that can only mean two things. Either this is the biggest ruse known to man, or the spirit of their beliefs just might be true. I mean, they tell us there's up to 6,000 Greek islands, and only 170 or so are populated. Think about the African no man's land. And we've already talked about, and we're going to go back over, the Southern Europe's no man's land. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is right there. That was their money. That's what they used for money. Yeah, they didn't know their left hand from their right. They was worse than damn children. That's why someone else, their underlings, had to do all their commerce and buy all their stuff from them. They could have poisoned the hell out of them. But I hope that turned out right. If it didn't turn out right, you already know. Put it in the comment section. I will go back over it because I'm fascinated by this stuff. I don't think you guys are as interested about it as I am about this Greek stuff, but I'm fascinated about it. So I'm going to do one or two more, and then we can move on. I got a whole lot more to show you. All right? Now, God's will, of course.